Welcome, everyone, to Season 3, Episode 25 of the Hall of Fame Show. And I'm Kirk Buchner, along with Evan Nolan. We are the owners, the operators of NotInHallOfFame.com, and a lot of things that we're going to be promoting today, one of which I'm going to just wait a little bit before we get there, because I'm kind of going to bring up somebody that should be talked about a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we start here, we've gone from Winnipeg, Chicago, all points in between, two hockey capitals of the world. I think today would be a great chance where we talk about hockey. Before we go any further with that, hey, the six people who were able to join us for join me rather, for the Hockey Hall of Fame debate, which really wasn't a debate, it was a conversation. What did you shake your head at that for?
Somehow 8 get elected and none of them are Pierre Turgeon.
Well, somebody wasn't there to help out with that. I'm not the only one who knew that story, by the way. But anywho, we decided on 8 people. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, hockey never does 8. Well, we just said, okay, we're just going to combine 2 years. We don't know what they're going to do. They're going to get it together on the 27th, apparently that morning, and then decide that night. So it's a pretty, I honestly wonder if we put more thought into it than they did. I seriously wonder that. That's all. Go ahead.
I will say we put more thought into it than the Knicks do on draft night. It's my God, the NBA draft is going on right now, and it's good. This sounds weird coming from a Boston sports fan and a fan of a team who just kind of blew the NBA finals, but thank God I wasn't raised a Knicks fan.
My good friend Dave, who you're going to have to meet one day, he's actually abandoned the Knicks. He's a big Knicks fan, but I give him a pass on this for jumping off the bandwagon. His thing is, I can't support a team owned by James Nolan.
Fair enough. I can't support a team. So I know we're going to get into hockey in a second, but I just want to point out Kemba Walker was with the Celtics, traded Oklahoma City, bought out, went to the Knicks, and then is now in Detroit, where he's going to get bought out again. He'll be on 5 teams in a season.
Kemba Walker. I'm not discussing Kemba Walker. I've already sort of put the nail in that coffin.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry. I want to just get off, and I'm just shaking my heads at the Knicks draft.
Okay, you told me you'd be bringing that up. So you can check how we got there on YouTube and on the regular platforms, but we chose Roenick, the Sedins, Luongo, Alfredson, Kachuk, Richter, and McGillney.
I have no problem with any of those, except, of course, I don't get Turgeon being left out for Alfredson. So, but we've been through this before.
Yes, we have. But it was a fun discussion, and thank you for all of those who were able to take a part of that. The Hockey Hall of Fame, as I mentioned, is going to be decided in the next few days. And as much as I'm praising hockey a lot, I'm going to shut on them really quick here. Why did you just do the hockey awards now during the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
I mean, I know things got pushed back because of COVID and whatnot, and you lost a bunch of games in December, if I remember correctly, if that was the right month. But what the fuck? It really matters?
You know, what you don't want to do is keep people talking about the sport after the season is over.
Oh,
because
no.
that you need an actual off season. The NHL Network needs to just air old games the entire time with no new content.
Kenan Thompson's show was canceled. He's got the time. You could have rescheduled him. I watched only bits and pieces of it. So the Hart Trophy winner, which is the person who I would have had, also winning one of the Ted Lindsay, Austin Matthews. Congratulations, USA, an American Hart Trophy winner again. I've never realized until he was wearing a suit how much of a 70s porn star / used car salesman Austin Matthews looks like.
Well, he plays for the Leafs, so I don't know. I just want to rip on the Leafs.
No, and I'm usually cool with that.
You just don't get in this one. I get it. So continue.
Yeah, I don't. That's another thing I don't get. So let's look at some of these people and say who has helped the most. And I've got someone who I was going to bring up last week, So I'm pretty strong on one, and I'm going to sort of explain why later. So as we look here at our winners, the Selke troll, well, that was already announced with Patrice Bergeron.
Right, and I think the 5, if there is any doubt of him going into the Hockey Hall, based on because he only has 900 points at this point, but I think the 5th Selke clinches any chance of that.
I think so. Kale McCarr. I never know how to pronounce that.
That's McCarr.
Kale McCarr. Well, anyway, he won the Norris. This is huge for him. Also big. I don't know what this. Bill Masterton is sort of a weird one because specifically it's for the person who exemplifies perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Price pretty much just all he did was, he just came back and played the last couple of games of the season. In many ways, sometimes this award and also the King Clancy is often like, if there's nothing that sort of stands out, it's a bit of a lifetime achievement.
Right.
Hence PK Subban winning the King Clancy. So I thought Getzlaf was going to get that. Whichever.
Doesn't really matter.
I'm a bigger fan of Subban. And I've always sort of found it fascinating. I've said this before, I'll say it again. PK Subban, the black hockey player, seemed to be more beloved in Nashville, Tennessee than Montreal, Quebec. There's ways that we can learn, Canada. We're not this post-racial paradise. I believe Bill Burr said that. Might be better then, but still, a little dig at my own little country here.
Tiny little place, Canada.
Yes. The Lady Bing, which does nothing for nobody, Kyle Connor, Winnipeg Jets. Whoopity.
Yeah, you went through all those. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with a lot of work that Kirk puts in the site, one of the ones he's done, which is one of my favorites, is going through all the awards in the various sports and how much effect they have on the people who win them getting in the halls of fame. And there are very, very few that have less to do with getting a Hall of Fame than Lady Bing.
Especially considering that it is one of the oldest awards in the Big Four of sports. I think off the top of my head, I'm not sure if that predates the Norris, but I think it does. Which is, again, crazy. And I've always said this, that is the one trophy that you could win and you're not putting it on your Tinder profile.
The profile. It's the file of your trophies, the profile.
Yes. Okay. But there's one person I want to really, the Mark Messier Leadership Award, one of my new favorite awards created.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. Anze Kopitar, love Kopitar. Daryl Sutter won the Jack Adams Award, but wait, did Sutter have this year?
I'm sorry?
No, the winner of the God damn it. Okay. Because I'm going to go through a couple other things because I have one massive elevator up that really, I could have been saying this the last few times. Just want to go through the first team All-Stars. Again, the Vezina winner, because I didn't mention because that was already a lock. Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah, that was easily a lock.
Maker is joined by Roman Josi, who is, I think, pretty much on his way there. Matthews, first team All-Star, joined by Mitch Marner and Johnny Gaudreau, which is huge for Gaudreau. That is left wing. Second team is Jacob Markstrom in goal. Hedman, and this is a slight surprise to me. I'm curious in your thoughts because he's a Bruin. Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, Charlie McAvoy is awesome.
I mean, like, is he a second team All-Star? I'm not sure I would have put in that spot. That was the only name when I saw that I went,
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a little bit more on the way people feel about him than the way he actually played this year. I have to say, having watched the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm not sure the Bruins play the same sport as either the Lightning or the Avalanche with the way they play, but he is. I mean, he's one of the best defenders in the NHL, and he at one point he was one of the highest paid defensemen. He's now been blown out of the water. I'm not rational about it. I don't have any problem with him being second team. So,
Connor McDavid, second team center, and Matthew Tkachuk, right wing, junior. Jonathan Huberdeau, left wing.
When McDavid is your second team center, that's a tough list.
Well, okay, so remember last week or the week before, you brought up a great point that basketball's probably going to be changing and moving away from, they're just going to put your best five in your best five.
Yeah.
Wings in hockey, because Leon Draisaitl is not a postseason all-star. And he had a better year than pretty much all four of these wings. Should hockey move into that? 3 forwards, regardless.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I think basketball has so much positional flexibility that the NHL tends not to have. Sometimes the wings flip, but you're rarely going to have a wing playing center or a wing playing defense or a defender playing up in the front, right? Whereas, like, tell me what position LeBron plays.
Before him, I never heard of a point forward.
Yeah, he's a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, general manager. Like, there's
right. Can we segue from that?
Sure. Or do you want to segue into that? Let's stick here and we can segue back out in a second.
All right.
But like, I just feel like it's a little bit weirder in hockey just because of the positional. It's like baseball. Outfielders, I get, like, mixing them together, but you can't just have like infielders. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is why I like outfielders. The best defensive outfielders tend to all be center fielders. So if you have if you have Gold Gloves, you have 3 outfield Gold Gloves. They're all center fielders. I have no problem with that, right? But it'd be a little weird to have like 4 shortstops as the Gold Glove winners in the infield. So I kind of feel that way with hockey versus basketball, that the positions are so static. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it's a little bit weirder, is all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. So here's somebody I wanted to bring up. I've been sort of saving him for a bit, and someone we've never discussed. This is right up the alley of Vinny Lospinuso, who who sometimes shows up and makes Hall of Fame cases for usually non-players. See how I plugged that?
Very nice. I like it.
Okay. And I want to bring up the person who won the Executive of the Year, Julien Brisebois, the general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, last week, when you discussed how the Celtics, just reactionary, just the whole thing with people reactionary in sports. And there's a lot, well, I don't know this for sure, but how many people were you reading that just said, okay, well, this is as good as Tatum is going to get, even though he's 24?
Yeah, he's 24. Yeah, there are tons and tons of people are saying that.
Right.
Like, let's just remind everyone, how old was LeBron when he won his first title? I believe he was
older than 24.
I believe he was 28 when he won his first title. So, like, let's calm down. Curry was 27. Like, he's 3 years to Curry. Give him a chance here. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, Brisebois, 4 years ago, and I remember this because it's like right before I moved to Barbados, and I'm just listening to sports radio. Now I'm back in Canada, but anyway, Tampa they had probably one of the best regular seasons ever. And then I forget who blew them away in the first round. They got swept in the first round.
Somebody weird. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter who. But I mean, there was a whole thing. Well, maybe we should blow this up.
Yeah.
I mean, like we put something together that's not a playoff team. Brisebois didn't. He held it. This is the same team that he had that got swept essentially 4 years ago. Somehow, with the salary cap, which is pretty strict in hockey, he's kept this group together. If this guy is not a Hall of Famer right now, I don't know what executive is. Now, as we're recording this, Tampa's down 3-1, but they can still come back. I don't think they will, but
it was Columbus, because then Columbus played the Bruins in the next round. The Bruins got the finals that year. So
okay. All right. So I think that is someone worth a major shout out. I know it's not sort of sexy to talk about executives and GMs, but what he has done, and almost by not falling for the trap of doing something.
I mean, he did use a loophole to circumvent the cap by $18 million.
But he did it.
He did. Same way that the Broncos fans did the loophole for the cap and got Shannon Sharp on their team, which everybody conveniently forgets. Yeah, I mean, clearly he's put together a team that, even if they lose this finals, they're down 3-1 as we're talking. They play game 5 tomorrow night. By the way, Kadri scoring while injured was so, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel. There are few players in NHL I think are less worthy of respect than Nazem Kadri, despite in terms of the way he plays, not the terms of the player himself. But yet he fought through injured, scored a game-winning.
He was an elevator up for me.
Forget Kadri.
Well, okay.
I would not want Kadri on my team just because of the way he plays.
Fair. Well, would you like me to tell you who I don't want on my team?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, because you told me what you're gonna. I didn't tell you what my smorgasbord is.
You did not.
Yeah, and the smorgasbord of shit. It's basically where I just say whatever the hell's on my mind. I pretty much actually we're done with the elevator. So we went elevator up, elevator down.
Yeah, fair enough.
Technically, I do have a massive elevator up for our hall, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. www.notanhalloffame.com/USA. What a lot of people didn't notice was that Katie Ledecky is now the most decorated swimmer, female swimmer, period.
Yeah. 17 championships, right?
Yeah, I think it's 17. So I know
I think it's 17, you know, I'm pretty sure.
And she's had an amazing meet. I don't know if it was the best one of her career. I'm not enough of a swimming person to sort of know this, but it's not getting attention, and it should.
100% should.
Yeah, Ledecky, and I've said why before when we talked about the Olympics, that the United States, well, mostly NBC, who had it at the time, has done a shit job of promoting this person, and I think we know why, because she's bland looking. And I'm sorry to be blunt and tell it like it is, but I'm telling it like it is. Again, because I'm so fucking hot. But there's a certain
sorry, I got headshots from my office today. So I had them taken when I was in Houston last week, and I opened them up, and one of my coworkers nearby, I'm like, oh my God, these headshots are awful. They make me look old and tired and fat. And she looked up, she goes, I think they look pretty much like you. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks. I didn't have body dysmorphia until this conversation. So anyway, continue.
Well, speaking of body dysmorphia, who is this? Katie Ledecky was not the most talked about female swimmer this week, was she?
I didn't pay attention to swimming. I apologize.
Oh, okay. So a few months ago, I shit on the NCAA because they didn't know what to do with Leah Thomas. They just said, well, whatever the governing body's going to do, you know, like, we'll just follow them. They punted. They took a coward's way out. Well, FINA, the governing body, said, no, that's it. We're done. We are this basically, for those who haven't seen that, what they're saying is if you went through male puberty, you're not competing as a woman. You know, putting it that bluntly. I did not think, and pardon my joke here, but they'd have the balls to do that. But it's the best word, really. But they did. It's possible that track and field might follow suit, and this is the right decision. I know that this is not this is me saying this is not Evan. So if everyone wants to sort of shit on somebody, shit on me. But this is the right thing to do because it's fucking obvious. If we care about sports and a lot of it's always about drugs, whatnot. Well, you have all these people who like had 5 years essentially of male growth hormones that you wouldn't have had. I want Leah Thomas and everyone else, and I don't know if you caught this though. They said we want to try and work. FINA said we want to try and work on an open category. Oh, I wonder who said that before. Oh, that would be me. So, because you still have that desire to compete. I get that, but
yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that someone made a decision. You and I have talked about this before. And Megan Rapinoe, actually, I did see Megan Rapinoe's response to that this week. Which I understand that side of things too, where this is something that doesn't come up very often. And if it's proven that there is an unfair advantage, then you need to do something about it at that point.
Yeah, but her point too is, well, it's only a couple people right now, and it's also not affecting Megan.
Also true. So I think both of our points on this is that it's not that we do not want people competing. That's certainly not it. It's that
if there's a bunch of far right wingers who are saying, yeah, go Kirk, Yeah, well, 2 weeks ago I went to
That-
gate right here in Winnipeg. So, oops.
Yeah.
I guess my Daily Wire subscription just got canceled, huh?
Yeah, but the concern both of us have, and maybe it's unfounded, but the concern both of us have is that if there are people who, due to the transition, have body chemistries that give them an advantage that if a natural born woman
Mhm.
could only be through the result of performance enhancing drugs, that is an unfair playing field.
Sure.
If hold on, if that is not the case, for whatever reason they figure out a way to make that not the case, I have no issue. It's a matter of fairness. If there's a situation in which the natural physiology, because otherwise there's no reason to separate men and women out, basically,
Sure.
if we're doing it that way, right?
Mhm.
So if there is a way in which the physiology is such and that there's not an unfair advantage from it, then by all means. But if there is, then I don't see how we get around that.
Oh, we know
Fairly.
what it is.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and well said. I could not have sort of danced like that, but
I mean, it is dancing, but the whole
Yeah.
point is if we have a drug testing protocol,
Mhm.
and people are getting that out, and using drugs is illegal. It's not something you're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And there's another way to get this to have an unfair advantage in the same thing because of a gender change. That doesn't, that doesn't sit right in terms of fairness.
No,
Again,
but
and
I do-
it's not necessarily fair to exclude people from competition, but it's not fair to put them in a competition with people who are at a natural disadvantage.
Right. And so, like, the counter that some people would say, well, look, Michael Phelps had this huge advantage over everybody because he had double lung capacity. He had, and I don't understand the whole lactic acid thing, but apparently he's.
So Secretariat's heart was twice as big as all of the horses.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when he died, his heart was like gargantuan, which is probably why he could run so fast.
But I think that is like one of the worst false equivalencies that I've ever heard. I do wish that Leah will have her best life. I strongly suspect she's an awful person based on a lot of the stories coming out about her. And
I know nothing. I know nothing about her.
But when there's nobody around you, the people who know you aren't backing you.
Yeah.
And I've said this about Megan. Probably not a very well liked person in her own clubhouse, because when she got shit, like got herself in that little shit that she shouldn't have, when they resurfaced an old tweet of her saying something inappropriate to an Asian teammate, the silence was deafening from her teammates. Nobody backed her.
Same thing happened to the Yankees earlier this year.
Yes, it did. And it said everything we need to know about Josh Donaldson in the clubhouse. Same thing with Megan. I guarantee you more shit will come out about what a lousy person she is in that room. But a major star and someone who we will probably nominate for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame.
And I will vote for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame the first time she's eligible.
I'm sure you will. I don't know what I will do. Let's see who's up against her.
She won international female player of the year in her sport.
She's the first American to do so.
I actually don't know that.
Okay.
Well, I can look that up.
Well, here's a good segue from something you wanted to bring up. Somebody very close who does like Megan Rapinoe. I never always say that wrong. Is now going to be, now we can have the official Hall of Fame clock on Sue Bird, her partner.
Yeah.
One of, if not the top 10 women's basketball players of all time. Would you agree?
No, certainly. I'd put her probably higher than that, but yeah, it's hard to argue anything lower than 10, certainly.
Yeah. So, well, I just said top 10. I mean, I'm not even.
Just by the way, she is the only woman to win because the Ballon d'Or has only existed for 3 years for women.
Oh, okay. Well, who won the two? Does it say?
Ada Hegerberg from Norway won in 2018. 2019 was Rapinoe. It's nothing in 2020. 2021 is Alexia Putellas from Barcelona.
Oh,
So.
speaking of sort of like women's sports, like where there was a few people who'd say like, why do all these people, these straight white men all care? Or usually it's always three white men care about that when they're not watching women's sports. You know what? So here's what I'm going to do, Evan. Here is my pledge. 25, at least 25 to 30% of what I'm going to be watching in sports will be women's sports.
Go for it.
Yeah, for the rest of the year. So I am going to make that so like that way I'm not treading in hypocritical waters, which I don't like to tread in, as you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that is my open pledge here. Take that for what you will, kids. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I hope it's all mixed martial arts. Anyway. But yeah, so there's a few other things we wanted to get into. You brought up a few things, or you sent me. We actually prepped.
Oh yeah, I just want to put there's so much going on. I just wanted to make sure I had a list of stuff here.
Yeah, so we've got another major retirement. I think this one will stick. We're talking with the
Gronk. I don't think Gronk's retired. I think Gronk doesn't like training camp. I mean, within 5 minutes of the retirement report coming out, Drew Rosenhaus was on with Schefter saying that he might be ready to go around Thanksgiving, right? So I just don't think that Gronk wants to do 2 days and everything else. I'd be very surprised. Gronk's 33. Like, it's possible he's done. I'd just be very surprised he's done. Because this, again, there's about I'll say a 50-50 shot. This is Brady's last year. I think Brady plays at least one more. But there's a 50-50 shot he's done this year. And if Gronk can ride off in the sunset with him, he will.
And if anyone who is a better GM than LeBron, Tom Brady.
That would definitely be true.
Yep.
Although LeBron also said that after seeing Brady's contract for when he retires and goes in the media, he's reconsidering his stance on joining the media when he gets out. So said that today.
Okay, well, let's go there. I haven't really thought about that. I'm not the Brady thing. Did we really even talk about Brady's media contract? Because like I honestly,
we did a few weeks ago, and that it wasn't actually. I said it wasn't actually a media contract; it was a personal services contract, where he was going to be the face of Fox Sports around the world, have golf events with important executives from other folks, and everything. That's what they're really paying him for, not for the play-by-play stuff. Okay, well, LeBron could do that because it's not like LeBron's going to replace Chuck and Shaq. True. Kenny's spot's up for grab, though. No, I'm kidding. So
that is like, God.
No, that's the greatest. That's the greatest of the show. So
yeah. So I mean, that's sort of like when I saw that, I didn't really think of it Brady as the whole personal services thing, because I'm thinking like, where is he going to fit in? Because like some of these guys are so bland. The NBC people are the worst.
Yeah. Well,
Dan Marino is boring as shit.
And Drew Brees left the booth.
Well, I don't know that I mentioned that to you, but I know I'm not surprised. Drew Brees, I love Drew Brees. I'm a Saints fan, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to translate. I never thought that Tony Romo would be the best commentator going on, but he is. I never thought that one of my favorite commentators would be Chris Webber. Some people just adapt well and some don't. Right. Brady, I don't see it. Actually,
I was watching NFL Network yesterday, and they had recently cut this offseason. Kyle Van Noy for the Patriots is on. Van Noy was awesome. Like he'd been doing it for years. It's very, very strange. I was like, this is weird. So you just like literally never know.
I mean, sometimes you've got a pretty good idea.
Like, you never know who's going to be good and who's going to be Dan Fouts.
Troy Aikman still works. I think Troy.
I know Aikman is yours. What's his mine? So
yeah, no.
Honestly, I just miss Jerry Glanville. When the Patriots are really, really bad, Jerry Glanville called all of our games. It was hilarious. So
I always got Kenny Albert. But yeah, you just don't know. Did we have another thing before we get to?
Yeah, just Sandy Koufax finally got a statue outside Dodger Stadium.
That blew my mind that didn't exist.
I know, it's weird. I saw it. I was like, really? Because I've been to LA a couple times. I've never been to Dodger Stadium. I just couldn't believe that I didn't have one already.
Yeah, no, and congrats on that. We do care about that because eventually we're going to sort of look at how every major league team, well, all four so of the 4 leagues, I should have phrased that better, honor their players. Probably.
The 4 major league teams, the Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, and Giants.
I word things badly. English, God, good, speak good, me.
I just want a list so we can keep the Cardinals out. That's really all it comes down to.
Well, the Dodgers would have lost a point had I not. Well, we haven't got all that way yet, but yeah, that's disgusting.
Crazy. So, but anyway,
yeah.
All right. So that's anything else before we get to the death roll?
No. I think that's we hit the big things. We really looked at hockey, and again, thank you for all those who participated. When we take a look at those things.
I really like the list. We did a really good job, except of course, there's no way in my mind that Alfredson should ever get over Turgeon, but you and I are going to disagree about that for the rest of our lives. So
probably also too, but Alfredson also was the bigger. He was the main guy on a franchise. Turgeon wasn't. Alfredson also
are the Senators really a franchise?
Barely, but. Okay, Ottawa was really good for a long time, and they just couldn't get past the Leafs.
That's true.
Over and over and over. And when they finally made the Cup final, it didn't go well. But also, international shit matters.
Yeah, I know.
So, but we lost quite a few. Just recently.
We did.
My God, each one more shocking than the next. So
I know it was a bad week for the Baltimore Ravens, but we'll get to there eventually.
Yeah.
Let's start in the world of music. So first, one of the great Irish traditional folk singers, Dennis Cahill, passed away at the age of 70. Hold on. So I'm sorry. Apologize. 68. Honestly, was the main thing. It sounds weird to have an American Irish music scene, but he was main part of it.
No, that's not weird at all. I mean, look, we have that in Canada too. Yeah.
So he's based out of Seattle, and there was a group, super group, if there was, an Irish American singers called the Gloaming, who won the Meteor Choice Music Prize for the Irish Album of the Year back in 2014. Mm-hmm. But he passed away at the age of 68 earlier this week. We also lost, let's go there, James Rado, who was an American actor, but also wrote the musical Hair, among other things, won the Tony Award in 1969 for Best Musical, and the 11th won Best Musical, the 11th Grammys.
When did that first come out?
The Grammys are Hair.
Hair.
67. So he wrote it in 67. It ended up on Best Musical in 69, just because it was off Broadway and they went on Broadway and everything else. But he passed away at the age of 90 of cardiorespiratory arrest. From American record producer Patrick Adams also passed away. He only had 32 gold and platinum records in his career.
Is that all?
Just the 32.
I'm only 32 behind.
Yeah, I know. But he had worked with, among others, Keith Sweat, Salt and Pepper, R. Kelly, Eric B. and Rakim, a whole bunch of people like that. Coolio, but did a lot of rap, hip hop, R&B, and dance clubs type music. He passed away at the age of 72. Yeah, just 32 gold and platinum records. Not that he knew what he was doing. Also, one last one for music. Brett Tuggle passed away. Best known for playing keyboard with Fleetwood Mac.
When was this?
Passed away at the age of 70 from complications of cancer. He played. Let's see. He was a touring musician. He started with John Kay and Steppenwolf before joining Rick Springfield as his keyboard player in 1982. Again, Rick Springfield and I are going to meet each other coming up in a few weeks here, I think.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's performing at in the next town over from me, Elk Grove. I am volunteering, and when we have those events, I tend to do a lot of speaking up on stage as party announcing. So maybe I'll meet him or not. We'll see. He also played with David Lee Roth after David Lee Roth left Van Halen, and then he also wrote "Just Like Paradise," by the way, with David Lee Roth. And then he joined Fleetwood Mac after that. He also played with Chris Isaac and Whitesnake. So just one of those people's around a lot on stage with a lot of bands. But he passed away at the age of 70. Okay. We lost one golfer, a member of the New York State Golf Association Hall of Fame, probably one of the most successful amateur golfers of all time, Don Allen, passed away at the age of 84. Appeared in 3 Masters, 65, 66, and 67. Finished third in the U.S. Amateur 4 times in a row. Played America's Cup team and was the 6-time state amateur champion of New York. Passed away at the age of 84. So I look for all halls of fame here, my friend.
Yeah, no,
all
absolutely.
of them. We also lost. I'll get to that one in a second. From baseball, we lost a couple of folks. Or actually just one. Dave Wickerson passed away. Pitcher for the Athletics when they're in Kansas City. Tigers, Pirates, and Royals. Passed away at the age of 86. Member of the Ohio Bobcats Hall of Fame.
Okay.
From basketball, we have Lenny Rosenbluth. Passed away at the age of 89. Played with the Warriors from 57 to 59. Member of the 1957 NCAA champion North Carolina Tar Heels. Was first team All ACC 55 through 57, ACC Player of the Year in 57, consensus first team All American in 57, and his number 10 was retired by the Tar Heels. So he passed away at 89. That doesn't say from what. So, but he was local in Chapel Hill when he passed. Younger passing away, Caleb Swanigan passed away this week at the age of 25. Played for the Trailblazers from 17 to 19. First team All-American in 2017. First team All-10 2017. Indiana Mr. Basketball. I mean,
do we know what we
won a gold medal with the U19 team. I don't see it yet. But he was not doing well. The cause of death was not disclosed. There are pictures of him after he passed away. Damian Lillard was all over the internet defending everything because Swanigan played with him and then was down as luck. There are pictures of him, not as down as luck as Delonte West. There are pictures.
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah, Delonte West had pictures of him begging for change in Florida.
Was it just months after? Like I think he got a tryout with the 3-on-3 or something.
Yeah, but Swanigan just didn't had a very bad last few years. And passing away at 25 is far, far too young.
Yeah.
From the world of NASCAR racing, NASCAR Hall of Famer Bruton Smith passed away at the age of 95.
Oh.
He was a owner of CEO of NASCAR track. He was the owner of Speedway Motorsports that owned several NASCAR tracks. Excuse me. Inducted in the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2016. He was in 2005 was the 207th most richest man in the world, worth $1.5 billion back in 2005.
Damn.
Okay. He was in 2012. He was the oldest CEO in the Fortune 500. So very, very involved with NASCAR for a very long time. Also very involved. I have a whole bunch of stuff on here in him for him with the amount of money he gave away philanthropically. Also probably responsible for the NASCAR Hall of Fame getting to Charlotte. One of the people who was principally responsible for that and making sure that the Lynx line, which was the railway line, he put a lot of money towards $50 million towards the light rail that would connect the NASCAR Hall of Fame to the rest of the city. So
Is it not in the core of the city?
I'm sorry.
So it's not in the core of the city, the hall.
It's just short of Charlotte Speedway, but it is in the core of the city. Yeah. So the line, yeah. So anyway, but he's a member of the International Motorsports Hall of Fame, member of the North Carolina Business Hall of Fame, member of the National Motorsports Press Association, and the Stock Car Racing Hall of Fame, and the NASCAR Hall of Fame. But other than that, they didn't do very much. So, but 95 is a pretty good run. One for you now. 1 week after we lost one WWE referee, we lost another, Tim White.
The Beige Mistress has traded her chores. Tim White. There's the most interesting thing that I found about Tim was that he was, I won't say the handler, but sort of like the guy who would tour with Andre the Giant, who Andre sort of like felt, okay, he's going to take care of a lot of my needs. So he got injured like years after that, somehow in a Hell in a Cell match. I don't remember why. But they did the most tasteless angle with him after, because he was depressed that he couldn't referee. So they did like 6 weeks of vignettes where he tried to kill himself unsuccessfully.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But a lot of the WWE guys or the people who knew him, like they just sort of like post all of these great pictures of themselves with him. So clearly he was very well loved. And I mean, man, just the stories he could probably just entertain just about Andre. And he was actually, I'm pretty sure, I think he was even featured in that Bill Simmons documentary about Andre.
Oh, maybe. I saw that, but I don't remember him specifically. It says here that one of the most famous matches he wrestled was the Mankind Undertaker King of the Ring.
He was the ref in that, yeah.
Yeah, where Mankind, it looked like Mankind was very injured. I actually watched that one in college because my roommate at the time was huge into WWE. And he was going to call it, but fully begged him not to. But yeah, so.
I remember watching that too live. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. And then you thought he was dead a second time.
Yeah. Like, the fact that Mick Foley is still alive all these years later is kind of a miracle.
Keith Richards would have been the first round pick of Deadpools for 20 years.
Yeah. Mick Foley shouldn't have been that far behind. So.
There's just something about Mick. And I love Mick.
Yeah. So anyway, Tim White passed away at the age of 68. We have 4 from football, and then we can move on. We'll go with, we'll start with Brig Owens. Brig Owens is a member of the Washington Commanders Ring of Fame, but a member of the 80 Greatest Redskins, just so you wonder. But he was drafted by the Cowboys in the 7th round, never played for them, but played for the Redskins from 66 to 77. A member of the University of Cincinnati Athletics Hall of Fame, member of the Orange County Sports Hall of Fame, and the Fullerton College Athletics Hall of Fame. He played 158 games, had 36 interceptions and 5 touchdowns to safety for the Redskins. So.
Yeah, really, really good. Well, one of the best.
Yeah, passed away at the age of 79.
Yeah.
We lost Jalen Ferguson of the Ravens, passed away at 26.
We get anything on him yet as to the why?
I haven't seen that one yet. The police said there's questionable, but there's nothing foul, no foul play or trauma.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, 2-time all first team Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year. I believe he holds a record for most sacks in NCAA history.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I read that.
He has 45 career sacks in 4 seasons.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily translate into the most productive pro career, but I mean, that's college and pro, right? You just don't know.
Yeah. He had 45 sacks in 50 games.
Did we not learn about this the day after we lost the basketball player?
It was the day, so Swanigan died, and then Ferguson died the next day. And what we found out Ferguson died the next day. And between them, we found apparently passing away was Tony Siragusa.
Yep.
The Goose at the age of 55.
One of the most popular players in Ravens history. Not necessarily one of the best, but he was, oh God, the man, he just oozed charisma.
He did. 100%. He did. Member of the Super Bowl champion Ravens, the first team that won.
I think was that not his final, if I remember right. I think that was his final game, and then he just went right into becoming a sideline reporter. Just one of the few that I remember, because usually whenever a sideline reporter's talking, regardless of the sport, I generally tune out. I think the exception might be Ken Rosenthal in baseball, but more often than not, they have nothing to say. And even when Tony had nothing to say, it was still entertaining because it was
super entertaining. Apparently he actually did play had 2 sacks and 28 tackles in 2001. So he played one more season.
Oh, okay. So I misremembered that one. Okay. Somehow I just thought he just went right from that to, but okay. Yeah, just all around good guy. Just one of those people that, man, wouldn't he be fun to go to the bar with, huh?
Yeah. Well, after he passed, someone had posted on Twitter an interview that he had. I'm not sure exactly when, but with Howard Stern, talking about being a big guy and everything. So Siragusa's 21 years old and goes out for a drink for the first time with his dad, who's 48. They have people over the house that night, and his dad has a heart attack and dies in Siragusa's arms at the age of 48. And so the interview Stern has with Siragusa is like, what was that like? How did you feel? It's like, my dad smoked, he drank a lot. I mean, he's like, were you mad at your dad? He's like, as I've gotten older, I've gotten madder because I know what you have to do to stay healthy. But he's like, you're worried about having a ticking time bomb in your chest. It's like, you can't worry about that with heart disease. You never know. I just try and live my life the way I can and everything. Yeah, he died. He died in his sleep. So my guess is that's usually a heart condition. But yeah, just once after having passed and then listening to him talk about it with Howard Stern was really, really poignant. But yeah, just it was one of those ones like he passed away and everyone's like, no, not Goose, like everybody, just because he was like, even if he wasn't on your team, you kind of love Tony Siragusa.
Right. I mean, there's only a handful of athletes like that just sort of transcend just the likability factor, even if they're not perennial Pro Bowls, All-Stars, whatever sport you're talking about. And he's one of them. He was one of them. I mean, it's no wonder why they said, okay, well, maybe we can't really say, maybe we're afraid of what he's going to do for 3 hours in a booth.
Right.
But we could just sort of like put him in the end zone for 2 minutes and just, I think that would have been,
You know what the crazy thing is? He was supposed to be a first-round draft pick, and he tore his ACL and went undrafted in the 1990 draft. It also says here that he was a New Jersey State wrestling champion in high school. He was 97-1.
I wonder who's the guy who beat him.
I don't know. That'd be pretty amazing. But yeah, God, go with God, Tony Siragusa. Just a wonderful, wonderful man. And finally, probably the biggest name to pass away this week, although maybe not as well known to modern folks as to those of us who care a lot about the history of football. Hugh McElhenney passed away at the age of 93.
Natural causes, I read.
Yeah. So McElhenney was a member of, what was the name of the $1 Million Backfield, right? So he was a member of the San Francisco 49ers squad that had 4 Hall of Famers in the backfield.
At a time when the Niners had those 4 and pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So it was it Joe Perry, Y.A. Tittle, and why am I forgetting who the other one was?
I'm blanking on that person too, but
I'll get it in a second. But he was the oldest living player inducted the Hall of Fame. He's the 4th oldest living Hall of Famer.
An original Viking.
He was an original Viking. That is true.
Yeah. That was the year he got his 6th Pro Bowl.
So $1 Million Backfield was 54-56. The members were Wyatt Tittle, Hugh McElhenney, Joe Perry, and John Henry Johnson.
Yeah.
All Hall of Famers. They call Hugh McElhenney the king, though, and Joe Perry was the Jet. So
if they had rookies of the year back then, he would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he did win Rookie of the Year.
I thought that. When did that? Really?
I thought I saw that he was Rookie of the Year. Hold on.
I didn't think they even had that back then.
I was listening to the thing on ESPN. I swear I saw he won Rookie of the Year. His first play from scrimmage was a 40-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I'd love to see it corrected on that. But
hold on, let me just see here.
Please.
I don't see. Yeah, my attitude of carrying the ball was fear, not fear of getting hurt, but of getting caught from behind and taking him down, embarrassing myself and my teammates. Yeah, I don't actually see where he won. Yeah, he didn't know the playbook and his first run, so they drew a play in the dirt, and he took it and ran 40 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
He averaged 7 yards per carry in 1952. At a time when everybody was running the football and there are very few people throwing. 7 yards per carry is insane.
Yeah, if I remember too, I think that was his best year, was his rookie year.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, when you peak as a rookie, but you still have 5 more Pro Bowls left in you, that's one hell of a rookie damn year.
He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. I mean, his best year might have been 52, but he's All-Pro in 53, 54, 56, and 57. 6-time Pro Bowler, member of the 50s All-Decade team. Numbers retired by the Niners, member of the Niners Hall of Fame.
Inaugural member, I believe.
Inaugural member, that's correct.
Yeah.
Member of the College Football Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, played at Washington.
At Washington.
Yeah.
So
Washington, no. Was Washington one of the first powers of the Northwest? I think so, huh?
Has it been?
Yeah.
But
so, yeah, a huge loss, and Godspeed to you, sir.
And the last remaining member of the class of 1970 for the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Jack Christensen, Tom Fears, Pete Pios, and now Hugh McElhaney. All first ballot Hall of Famers, all gone.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess we close with the good, the bad, and the ugly of sports. I know what they are, and
I know what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Well, it's entertaining. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Well, I am. I'm looking forward to it. But look, I don't know. Maybe we should always close with the good.
Yeah, maybe.
Ugly.
Yeah, I know. Just by the way, with him passing away, the 10 oldest members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. By the way, I was wrong. I forgot about Charlie Trippy. Charlie Trippy is still alive at 100 years old. It'll be 100.
He's got to be the oldest living Hall of Famer.
He's the oldest living NFL player, actually.
Yeah.
At the moment. Art McNally, who just got elected last year, Marv Levy, Bud Grant, Joe Schmidt, Gil Brandt, Raymond Berry, Lenny Moore, Sonny Jurgensen, and Len Dawson.
I don't know that Sonny Jurgensen was still alive.
I believe so, unless I screw this up. He's born.
Well, we never talked about him since we've been doing this. So
yeah, hold on, let's see.
It's just one of those names I just assumed has been dead forever. I don't know why I thought that.
Sonny Jurgensen is 87 years old, still going. So anyway, all right. So the good, I'm just going to talk about, we haven't talked about it enough because they usually do a really bad job. So I'm going to talk about it. This rookie class in baseball is super fun.
Yeah.
Like super duper fun this year. My favorite one right now, and I don't know how he's done tonight, but my favorite one right now is O'Neal Cruz, who's the 6'7" shortstop who's now 7 games into his career here with the Pirates. And he got a ground ball the other day and threw the ball to first base at 96.7 miles an hour. And he's led off. He's hitting 261 so far. He's led off his career with an RBI in his first 6 games, becoming the 3rd player ever to have an RBI in his first 6 games of his rookie season.
Brandon Donovan of the Cards is doing phenomenal. Well, I'm sure, who also are we gonna focus on?
Well, I mean, Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners.
Oof. Yep.
Yeah. Stephen Kwan of the Guardians. Jeremy Pena of the Astros. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals, which is just weird. Suzuki with the Cubs was interesting, but he's been out for a bit now.
Say Suzuki. What did he have? I can't think about this first. He had one of the best opening days of a Cub ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that was the Cubs highlight. My favorite name though, I do enjoy Seth Beer. It's like the fact that the designated hitter of the Diamondbacks is named Beer.
Yeah, but I don't think he's done anything this year. Is he?
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I just enjoyed him while he was up. But there's a whole list. It's just a really, really fun group this year.
Yeah.
And I hope more people pay attention to baseball. This is one of the more interesting baseball seasons we've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the interesting thing too. I mean, like if you just look at standings, you're thinking, well, I guess we're going to give it to the Yankees. Well, that's not how baseball works.
100% not how baseball works.
Yeah.
And they're like, I mean, the Red Sox have started 10-19 and now are 8 games over 500. So they've made up 17 games.
Well, look at the Reds.
No, the Reds.
I mean, I can't remember exactly what they started off. I'm probably wrong when I say this, but it's probably something like 3-20.
They were awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost brought up, and I kicked myself too when one of our shows, I really wanted to insult Reds ownership because they demanded that the fans who were putting the bags on their head take them off. You know, like, well, get better. But it's you know who's having a great year is Miguel Cabrera. I don't know.
Yes.
Where's this coming from?
I know.
Last time I checked, he was batting 300. I mean, obviously he's not a great fielder anymore, but I mean, it was like at this point, just like get rid. I thought like he was done last year.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. The thing is that some of these bad teams are really, really bad. Mm-hmm. The Oakland Athletics may set a record for the worst home record in the history of baseball. They won last week.
And worst home attendance too.
Yeah. They're 8-28 at home so far this season. And 15-20 on the road.
It'll have to be a record for worst attendance in the modern era. Or maybe not because of COVID. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But I do have to say though, just in general, the rookies in baseball have been really, really good, and I hope people see them. That's all. And Neil Cruz is my favorite non-Red Sox at the moment.
Not only that too, Evan, though. I mean, it's also good when your stars are playing like stars. Paul Goldschmidt is phenomenal right now. Aaron Judge. I mean, these are your
Aaron Judge is playing ridiculously.
Yeah. So, but it's always best when your big stars are playing like big stars, regardless of the sport.
100%.
And your big names in baseball are doing that. Freddie Freeman is doing phenomenal right now.
My 2 Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts is hitting 341, and Rafael Devers leads the majors in hits at the moment.
I mean, and they're all really big names, and you've got a nice, good rookie class. No, it's very good. This is what might be one of my favorite goods you've done.
Yeah, I just want to say, and I would also like to point out that more people watched Game 6 of the World Series than watched Game 6 of the NBA Finals this year. So,
what do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, it was the Celtics and Warriors. It's not like it was. No offense to these teams, it's not like it was Orlando and Minnesota.
No, exactly. So you've got Curry, one of the most recognizable guys. You've got a big market on both sides.
You got the up and coming Celtics with the 2 young guys, and Tatum. Is he going to take the leap? He didn't, but is he going to take that leap? That whole thing. So you never know. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It was weird.
All right, so bad. A repeat performance.
Yeah, well, one thing I just want to put in the bad that just came out. Bob Baffert was banned for a year by the New York Racing Association. Bob Baffert is for the trainer, the horse trainer. He's gotten all sorts of trouble. So his horses keep coming up with illegal drugs in them, and he doesn't know how. So, but he's been banned for a year. So that's part of the bad. But
Jamaican horse was on steroids.
Okay. So bad. I mean, I don't know what's going on with golf at this point. I mean, Brooks, first of all, I should give a special shout out bad just for Brooks Koepka's performance at the tournament this last week, the US Open, where he was asked about joining LIV. And he's like, oh, that's ridiculous. Why would you ever ask me this question? It was so not convincing. And then like 3 days later, he joined for $100 million. Koepka's made $38 million in his career, by the way, as prize money. I don't know where this ends for golf. It's super bitter. There's no way. I mean, without a TV contract with LIV, like, our network's gonna piss off the PGA that much? Like, how do you jump to something that seems like it might just be a dalliance?
It is a dalliance, but I mean, it's also a dalliance by people who love their toys. And I'll say what I said last time. Remember what happened to Miss Griner?
Yeah.
You know, when she became useless to the toy master.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's a lot safer because I don't think maybe they would. They would go there. I mean, like before
Yeah,
all
the Saudis would definitely never kill anybody who wasn't useful to them anymore. That
no,
definitely wouldn't happen.
But I guess going here, and I'm not a golf guy, and as much as I should be. Was there before this year a lot of golfers complaining like how messed up the PGA was?
Not, I mean, I'll be honest. Neither you are golf people.
Yeah.
Not that I heard. Let's leave it at that. Not that I heard.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like we're sort of like overtopping one evil empire with another, are we? Unless there's something we don't know.
Yeah. Now that they've gotten rid of the rule that fans can call in on rules violations, which was the single dumbest rule in all of sports. Can you imagine if the NFL allowed someone to call in on a rules violation? Like, what would happen?
Do that for one game involving the Jaguars and the Texans. Why not? What difference is it going to make?
Yeah, there was holding on that play. There's holding on that play. There's holding on that play.
Well, both their fans can call in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez. But yeah, it's just I don't see where the endpoint is on this for the PGA. I mean, if this collapses a PGA, let's just say there's so much money that it collapses a PGA. Now what?
Then the Saudis buy those 4 opens.
Wow.
I mean, what else would they do?
Yeah, I don't know.
They do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I mean, just... like, okay, sports, entertainment, music. I mean, they're all full of people who've been bought. You know, we talked about LeBron earlier. He's been bought by China. There's no doubt there shouldn't be any doubt in anyone's mind. He will never say anything bad about them. And I get it. He's also the guy he's also in, and I'll say this, he's also in a really shitty position too. I don't know what LeBron's actual position is on that, but if he sort of does that, then he's just wrecked his friend's payday too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's the only one who can really do that. And his freedom saying whatever, it's not really going to hurt anyone that much. Well, I mean, I guess it did.
And his freedom was the greatest player in the league. That one guy on the internet said so.
And his freedom to me wasn't bad. Actually,
yeah, he wasn't right for that Celtics team, but he was.
No, obviously he wasn't. But his, 2-time leader in offensive rebound production or percentage. Can you tell that I just wrote about him today? Yeah, because I've been working on my basketball futures, and I already wrote him up because he's not playing again.
Possible.
Guaranteed, he's not playing again. He also isn't going to play in Europe either, because he said before he's afraid to go back. He wouldn't go to Toronto for road games.
Hmm.
So
3-3 league.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what he's going to do, but. Right. But going back, I mean, there's piles of them. I mean, just even look at the big movie the last couple of weeks, Maverick, where we know that they digitally altered out his jacket that had a Taiwan flag to appease China. Mm. Things can be bought by rich people or.
Well, what I can't wait for is. We didn't talk about this last week, but the World Cup, I told you countries getting in, they also announced the cities that are getting stuff. And somehow Boston is getting games. I love Boston. You know that. Mm-hmm. There's no reason that anybody should be going to Foxborough Stadium for a World Cup game. It is in the middle of nowhere. Well, compared to what they did in Brazil when they actually built a stadium in the middle of the Amazon. Well, that's also true. But hey, it's a great pre-ruin. Hey, but cities like Chicago, who have stadiums right available, didn't get it. So, but I'll surprise you with this: Toronto shouldn't have one either, because the Dome, they're not putting in the Dome; they're putting in BMO Field, which I'm not sure their current capacity. It's a lot bigger than what I remembered, but it's not gonna get much bigger than what it is. The other one is Vancouver, which is a dome rectangular that you can do that. And Edmonton didn't get it, so they got left out. But the other thing that's gonna be interesting, it's a big, you can buy anything from anyone. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see how many people get arrested for kissing people who they're not related to at Qatar. because Qatar is going to be strictly enforcing no sexual contact between people who aren't married.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No alcohol and no sexual contact between people who aren't married.
But I'm sure they're going to be okay with people flying the rainbow flag.
Well, that's also bad. But kissing someone of the opposite sex you're not married to is 7 years in jail in Qatar. So let's see how many people actually come back from the World Cup who are there. So,
well, as for how much some certain laws are on books, as living in Barbados, gay sex was illegal. The prime minister is a lesbian. She's closeted, but everyone knows.
mm-hmm. Well,
so I don't really know where I'm going with that. Let's maybe it's not.
Well, we'll see, but it has the ability to be a disaster.
Well, it's anyway disgusting that it's in Qatar, but I mean, we could go on and on.
Speaking about the ability to be a disaster.
Oh, I love the segue.
Yeah. The continued ownership of the Washington football team. I guess I'll call them the Commanders. I don't think that name's going to last very long. Whoever's the new owner is going to be changing it. But the NFL was answering questions in front of Congress. Now, should Congress be spending time on this?
No,
probably not. But they were. And the congressional panel says that it found evidence that they were the accusers that everything was cleared on. The accusers thing that they got was some shade on Adam Schefter and John Gruden fired. That they were conducting shadow investigations of the accusers to try and discredit them.
Didn't they also say, or didn't Goodell say well, I can't get rid of
an owner. I don't have that power.
I'm sure they collectively they do. I mean, it didn't take long for Adam Silver to get rid of not Roger Sterling. That's the guy from Mad Men. Donald Sterling.
Roger Serling was the guy from Twilight Zone, or Rod Serling, excuse me. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, he said that.
Imagine if you will. No, go.
Imagine if you will, a world in which the commissioner in the NFL told the truth even once. Apparently they had private investigators harassing, intimidating witnesses. They created a 100-page dossier targeting the victims, witnesses, and journalists who had shared credible public accusations of harassment against the team. Why are we still with this guy? Why have they not voted to vote him out?
That's the other interesting thing, right? I mean, are they, we talked about this months ago, when it came out that he was hiding money for revenue sharing. And you think, okay, well, the other owners aren't going to stand for this. Well, maybe they don't want to open that can of worms.
Yeah, maybe that may also be true.
Because I thought that would have been it.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know. It amazes me how the NFL is so strong that you can have a franchise like this that can fail this badly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's still making money hand over fist.
Oh, of course. It's the actual religion of the two religions in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
are politics and whatever we're calling the football team.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have their fourth name in 10 years coming up here pretty soon, I think. I mean, the league has a second investigation going in, and they say that the result of this investigation will be made public. I'm very sure that it'll be a full and complete investigation.
Oh yeah.
But it's just I don't understand how he cannot be good for the league. He's been withholding money from the other owners.
But that's how Teflon this league is. It doesn't matter who's owning anything in that league. They can't get rid of it. It's okay, well, are we losing money by keeping this jerk off here? Well, I guess not. Okay, well, wait a minute. Who wants to buy Team Hitler? Does he have enough?
Well, imagine Hitler wanted to buy golf.
Imagine Hitler. Sorry.
Yeah, but just I don't know. I don't know what the NFL is going to do about this. Deshaun, how can they how can they do anything to Deshaun Watson and nothing really? I mean, they fined him $10 million and made him stop day-to-day operations with the team, but like,
Well,
what's $10 million to that's probably just the money that he stole from the other franchise. He just basically got to return it.
Mm-hmm. And he makes that all just in concessions and parking after a few games. It's the league will always succeed in spite of itself. I thought, okay, when we learned everything about CTE. Mm-hmm. I mean, even South Park did that bit where they're okay because they thought a lot of times they predict the future really well. This one they got way off when they were just what was it, all those little microorganisms to watch football because they figured people aren't going to watch anymore.
Right.
No, didn't happen.
No.
And us included.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my team's good. Why would I stop watching?
Yeah, no, there'll be no bet between us unless you want to give me like a 7.5 game spread.
Between the Saints and the Patriots? I think the Patriots schedule is pretty hard. My guess is they're probably going to go about 10-7. So people are saying 8-9. I think they'll go 10-7. So
I don't see a whole lot of playoffs in New Orleans' future, but yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And the sad thing is, we know that the LIV and the Commanders, it's still weird to say, we're going to talk about them again. It's going to be in Your Good, the Bad, and the Ugly multiple times before the end of 2022.
Can you imagine 5 years ago when we started doing podcasts together talking about the LIV and the Commanders, and we were like, what? What are we talking about?
A year ago, it wouldn't have made any sense.
That's true. Yeah, this time last year, LIV and the Commanders. Is that like a new show on like Adult Swim on Cartoon Network?
Voiced by Woody Harrelson.
Ooh. What's he doing? He's available.
I told you I met him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, a story for another time. Anywho, I guess that concludes episode 25. So if you haven't checked out the Hockey Hall of Fame show, please do. If you want to be a part of future ones, let us know because we're going to be doing that again in the future. Eventually, we're going to do a basketball one, I think. I don't know.
Just try not to do it on Tuesday night.
I'm going to try not to do them on Tuesday nights. It's sort of hard because I also have, well, we did Tuesday night because there was no hockey game.
I mean, it 100% makes sense. I understand. It's just, it was just a bad Tuesday night because we had to do karate the whole time. And even if I got back from karate, I had that case I had to design because it's our busiest time of year. So I got the case designed. We presented it. We'll see what happens. But I'm hoping he takes it.
So check that out. Also, we've got some new stuff coming on. How the hell did this go number one? We've recorded Chariots of Fire, one that Andrea picked, one of my partners there, Andrea Tessman. Yes.
Our RIP Vangelis, who we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And both Brad Nelson, my other co-host, we gave her shit. Like, why did you pick this? We had nothing to really talk about. But on the one that we just recorded last night, torn between two lovers.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was mostly just a
rip. What did you talk about Evangelis? Like the very controversial lyrics?
Mostly that this was a movie that won the Oscar and none of us could try. We all tried to watch the movie that week and we couldn't do it. We were bored. All three of us said, well, we all said independently. We didn't say it to each other. Like, okay, well, like it did. So I tried to watch the movie. So did I. So how far did you get? Not very far.
Yeah. Was that 1981 or 1982?
I want to say 82. Is that weird?
It was 82 thing, but it was 1981. So Oscar Best Picture nominees 1982.
It did apparently super well, 60 million at the box office.
It beat out. Well, hold on. The ones that I was up against were on Golden Pond, The Loons. If you've ever seen that movie,
that one either.
Golden Pond was okay. Atlantic City, which is okay. Reds, which is pretty good by Warren Beatty, and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
But we went there. We just sort of like talked about how this, try to analyze how that sort of became synonymous with running, because it doesn't seem that obvious. So that's what we try to do. And then with the other one, with Torn Between Two Lovers, we just made fun of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So look for all of that soon. Wherever you are, oh, hey, buy my book. I'm going to close with that.
Go for it.
Yes. Chavo Guerrero, instant classic about the late great Chavo Guerrero Sr. I write better than I talk. So check that out on Amazon. And with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everyone.
Take care.